So I kind of want to set the scene. We had been doing anti-human trafficking ministry for probably 3 or 4 days during the week of Derby season.
And it was insane. I was exhausted, man. It takes a lot out of you when you talk to dozens of women every night. There's just this constant dread and this hopelessness.
And on the night of the Oaks, we had been to every spot that we could think of, every spot that we've ever been to before, ministering to what felt like hundreds of women.
We were worn down, and it was the end of the night. We were at our time, and we were talking about, do we pack in? And we just kind of sat for a minute and felt like the Lord told us to do another round.
I remember looking over at Alex and having him say to me, I know that we've been to every stop, but I feel like God is waiting for the one. And I said, okay, well then keep driving until you feel like you found the one. We had driven around for what felt like 15 minutes, and I saw Alex turn his head to look out his window and said, that's the one.
Saw a girl on the side of the road in front of a store that we know is frequented by ladies being trafficked. And so pulled in, before I could even park, Destiny's out of the truck with this lady. And there was a man there with her to purchase, and Destiny walks right up in between the two of them.
I remember walking up between her and the man who was trying to purchase her. And I walked up and I said, hey, I work for Hope Rescued Louisville. Like, I'm just out here loving on women, seeing if they need any hygiene kits, seeing if they need any help with getting out of sexual exploitation or prostitution, or maybe if you just need a rehab facility. We have so many resources for you. Do you know anybody like that? It might not be you, but do you have any friends around here that like we could talk to? And she stopped dead in her tracks and she looked me in the face and she said, it's me. I'm that person.
And she looks at the guy that was about to purchase her and goes, you go sit on that sidewalk over there and wait a few minutes, and we're gonna go have a chat. And the dude listens, he just turns around and walks away and goes sit on the stoop. And Destiny talked with Eliana for several minutes.
And so I pulled her away and I got to hear a little bit of her story. It actually came out that she was trafficked in for Derby season by gang violence. And I spent what was probably about 10 to 15 minutes with her, hearing her story, just hearing her heart. And I told her, I was like, hey, I can do an intake with you right now. This is not a lifestyle that you have to stay in. And she looked at me and she goes, I'm so ready to be done feeling broken.
Eliana said, you know, I'm all in, I want help, but I'm not ready this moment. It's not safe in this moment for me to leave.
So I slipped her what is a hotline card, and she said, I will call you at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. That call never came.
We were filled with hope that she was going to follow through, and she didn't. It was frustrating.
I remember when we woke up for church on Sunday morning, I was in such a hurry to get to the church and didn't really know why. I was just like, you know what, let's just get to church early. Maybe we can sit and hang out, talk to a few friends, and just be for a minute. Because it was night after night of human trafficking. I felt a little bit spiritually depleted.
And I remember making fun of Destiny because we were 45 minutes before service started. And I said, why in the world did you get me to church 45 minutes early? And as I said those words, the phone rings.
And she didn't even have to say her name. I heard her voice come through the phone and I knew it was her. And she said, I'm ready. I need you to come and get me.
And I feel like we threw our children out of the car, not literally, but to our wonderful team there at church. They took them and they took the car seats, and we drove straight to the spot in Louisville where she was, not far from where we had ministered to her earlier in the week.
And I remember poking my head into one of the shops and she wasn't there. And I had walked down a line of like what the equivalent of like a strip mall. And I skipped one of the doors because I couldn't tell if they were open or not. And I went down to the next store, but the door was locked. And I was like so mad that I couldn't get in. I'm yanking on this door and I hear from this other store over here, I think you're looking for me. "Are you looking for me?" And I turned my face and it was her.
We had one of the organizations that was going to be the landing place for her call while she was in the store. So they had already done a full intake. Everything was ready to go. Paperwork was ready. And Destiny walked in. She was just so excited to see Destiny. And they talked for about 3 minutes and finished up the paperwork that was needed and said, "Let's go."
She finished the phone call and we're walking out of this strip mall and a man walks up to us. A decent sized type of man, like about 6'5", broad shoulders, big man. So he looks at her and he says, "Where do you think you're going?" And she looked him in the face and she goes, "I'm leaving. I'm gonna go to recovery. I'm gonna make my life better." And he said, "You're not going anywhere."
And Destiny, all 100 pounds sopping wet, gets her shoulders all big and goes,
"She's going with me and you need to get out of my way." And so he kind of looked at me and was dumbfounded that a woman would even say anything like that to him. And he kind of looked at me, and he looked at her, and he looked at me, and just moved out of the way.
And then they get in the truck, and within 2.5 hours of her calling us, she was in a safe place that was going to walk with her through this next chapter of life.
She had been trafficked for her entire life. She had never known a safe person. She'd never known a safe place. And so when she encountered little old me, just offering her a different life, offering her a hope that only Jesus could give her, it changed her life. And for as far as I know, she is still in her program. She's still thriving and believing in the hope that comes tomorrow.
So Eliana was girl number 59. Hope Rescued has rescued off the streets out of sex trafficking in 3.5 years. She is our 59th girl that has disclosed that she was being sexually exploited or trafficked. And there's been multiple since then already. And that's what what your partnership does, is it changes lives like it did for Eliana, like it did for 60 other women already, and more counting by the time that this is being played and you're listening. And I think it's special to know that we're sitting in a place that it's going to be a drop-in center for those women, that they can come in while still being trafficked and exploited and find hope and find rest and safety and freedom, and that this can be a pipeline toward their future. So thank you for making a difference. What God can do with your yes is truly miraculous.